So please join me in congratulating Congressman Steve Israel for being the first recipient of the LGBT Network's Lifetime Achievement Award.
Meet the Mets, meet the Mets. Step right up and greet the Mets. Bring your kiddies, bring your wife. Guaranteed to have the time of your life, because the Mets are really socking the ball, knocking those home runs over the wall. East side, west side, everybody's coming down to meet the METS Mets of New York town.
Thank you very much. Thank you, David Kilnick. How about a big hand for David Kilnick? David Kilnick's introduction was 3 times as long as what I'm going to say, because my mother wrote the introduction, I believe. I've had the privilege of working with presidents and vice presidents and governors and lieutenant governors and prime ministers and diplomats, but really at the end of the day, really we all work for David Kilnick in life, don't we? It's all about him. Also want to acknowledge my co-honoree, George Tsunis. Big hand for George Tsunis. He is my brother and partner in so many things. And the lieutenant governor, all of the elected officials who are here. You'll notice something, ladies and gentlemen, when you look at these elected officials and you look at me, I'm the only one who's smiling in life. I got out of Congress. I went to the doctor about a week after I got out. I had been in Congress for 16 years. And I complained about this horrific these pains and these tremors in my face. He said, "It's a smile. You haven't done it for your time in Congress." Listen, I'm going to be brief, less than 2 minutes. But now that I'm out of elected life, I can be honest. So I want your attention on this, because I want to speak bluntly with you for the next 2 minutes. When I was in Congress, I never pretended to be the smartest guy in Congress, although if you know my colleagues, you know the competition was never that stiff. But I think that I had the most profound understanding and study of history. And we all know that we're in a pretty tough and dark and uncertain time in our history right now, at this moment. These are times that test our basic decency as human beings, test our basic civility, our integrity. These are times when, at times, it seems that the dividers seem to win and bigotry and intolerance seems to be spreading. But I want to tell you why I'm so optimistic. My wife, Kara, and I, 2 weekends ago, we spent that weekend with Robert Kennedy Jr., Bobby Kennedy Jr. I'm working on a writing project with him. And for those of you who are too young to remember him, Bobby Kennedy Jr. saw his uncle, Jack, President Kennedy, assassinated when he was 9 years old. Bobby Kennedy Jr. saw his father, Senator Robert Kennedy, assassinated when he was 14. And so he knows something about intolerance, and he knows something about bigotry, and he knows something about hatred. And this is what I thought about that weekend that I spent with him, and what I want to leave you with tonight. Ultimately, the dividers are always lost to history. History never remembers the dividers. History always remembers the healers. It's the uniters who prevail. We don't think about Bull Connor in the civil rights movement. We think about Martin Luther King, and we think about Rosa Parks. We don't think about the British colonizing India. We think about Gandhi. And I promise you, ladies and gentlemen, that in a few years, we're not going to be thinking about Donald Trump. We're going to be thanking Edie Windsor for what she did. We're going to be thanking the LGBTQ activists for what they have done, who have taken to the streets, who are organizing and mobilizing, who are raising their voices and casting their votes to make America who we really are. And who are we? That is the seminal question of our day. Who are we? There are hats that tell us that we are here to make America great again. That's what those hats say, and I agree. We want America to be great and always greater. But I want to leave you with one other moment in history. There was this guy who came to the United States of America in the first decades of our existence. He was a guy named de Tocqueville. Wrote this book, Democracy in America, one of the best books about this country I've ever read, David. And in that book, he summed up the essence of this country in one sentence. And that sentence was, America is great because Americans are good. America is great because Americans are good. In many generations since then, not every generation, but in many generations since then, ladies and gentlemen, people have been summoned to bring us back to the good. And you are being summoned now to bring us back to the good, out of the dark into the light, away from intolerance towards love and inclusion. It is really up to you. And I have confidence that you're going to be able to do it, that you're going to be able to heal those wounds and heal what's hurt our country and unite the divisions. I tried very hard in my time in public service to do that, but now it's up to you. And here's my final personal plea to you. Last Sunday, my youngest daughter got married. I hope that one day, not too soon, but one day I'll be a grandfather. And so I am here to fight not only for yourselves, but for the grandchild that I hope to have. I'm here to ask you to fight for yourselves and also those you love and who love you back. I'm here to ask you to devote yourselves to a country and a life where everyone loves each other, no matter who they love, so that my grandchild can grow up in that atmosphere, in that climate, in a country that is not only great but good. Thank you all very much. Thank you for this honor, and God bless you. Thank you.